Welcome to part 2. Now, I already did a video about the songs in the game, so I'll try not to repeat myself too much. As I said, the songs in the game are dark reprises of some of the songs from the movie. There's This Is Halloween, which is just a rendition of the song with different singers and musical composition, but it's still pretty good. There are 3 renditions to Oogie Boogie's song, believe it or not. Oogie's song, Casino Clash, and a filthy finale. Dr. Finkelstein's song is the only original song in the entire game, and it's actually really good. It's catchy, it's fun, it pertains to the situation it's played in, and it feels like a Nightmare Before Christmas song. There's Take Our Town Back, which is a rendition of Making Christmas, which is also pretty well done. I love it. It plays out to the original tune so perfectly, and this part here is just epic.
Take our town back, la la la. It has begun, we cannot wait. So be on guard and concentrate. 'Cause when the full moon starts to climb, we'll all sing out.
Next is Hail to Mr. Oogie, which is a rendition of Kidnap the Sandy Claus. Like I said before about this song, it's actually very relevant to the plot because what Locke, Shock, and Barrel sing about actually happens or happened. Back in the movie, they sing about all these elaborate traps and schemes they can pull on Santa Claus, when all they end up doing is this.
Trick or treat!
But to be fair, it's likely they were just talking big and knew that they had to do the job in the least messy way possible so that they could get Santa to Oogie without suspicion. But in this song here in the game, it really plays up to what they end up attempting and doing in the game. They really have made a mess of things, and this one line in particular is spot on.
Ghosts and skeletons galore, brainwashed fighters wanting more. They're rising up from every tomb to torment Jack and seal his doom. Hail to Mr. Oogie, put Jack to the test.
There's Spiral Hill, which is a rendition of Jack and Sally's little song at the end of the movie. It's absolutely beautiful and really feels like a song they would sing together. It's romantic and strong, really showcasing how far they've come together, as well as how much of a team they really are. And of course, it's reminiscent of the original tune, both in the song and in the motion of the scene. The camera angles are different here and there, but some are pretty much the same. Like I said before, the movie said a lot about how Sally feels about Jack and how much he means to her. Here in the game, we see a bit more about how Sally means to Jack and how much he counts on her. All of that is said in this song beautifully.
Anyway, so then there's also Oh No! Which is a rendition of What's This? And it's the only song that actually plays during the actual gameplay. Aside from Take Our Town Back and This Is Halloween, but those two play during battles, whereas Oh No plays when you're in Christmas Town. It's very well done in how it's a darker and sadder version of the tune, and Chris Sarandon really performs it nicely, giving Jack the emotional despair he's feeling and all of the hopelessness that surrounds him, and yet how, even a little bit, how optimistic he is in the fact that he has to stop the madness and will not give up.
The ghosts, the ghouls, they're everywhere and all around. I've never felt so sad before. This happy place in front of me is being trashed so greedily, so greedily. It's tragic, oh it's tragic. I can't stand to watch it burn. I've got to stay near Christmas Town and see these monsters die about. This must stop!
And now, saving the best for last is my favorite song in the game, Sally's Song, which is of course a rendition of the song of the same name from the movie. I absolutely love it. Not only is it wonderfully performed by Chris Sarandon and Katsushi, especially with how they capture the tune of the original lyrics and everything, but it's awesome! Jack and Sally singing a full-length duet, a rendition of her lovely song from the movie, no less, together, it's just absolutely wonderful and beautiful. You can really feel the despair and optimism, teamwork and determination, all of that within it. It's Jack and Sally's second ever duet, and it really shines beautifully, and it makes me a happy fangirl. Not to mention, despite the sad and hopeless undertones, it still has an action-oriented and feel and strength to it. And again, it combines both the despair and optimism about the entire situation. I love the tune, I love the lyrics, I love the singing. It's awesome.
What will become of our dear town now that we've let our leader down?
You know, dear Sally, that's not true. We can't come back, me and you.
There's so much danger yet to face,
But I'm not worried, back home I hurry. Now we must stop that evil Oogie scheme and save our Halloween.
The background music they use in the game is also really well done. 2 of the tracks are actually tunes from songs from the movie. This is Halloween and also Sally's song, but the songs they created for the game are also really, really good. My favorite is definitely the rendition of the tune of Sally's song that plays in the graveyard after you save her. It's the whole, full tune and it's beautifully composed. Honorable mentions. One of them is definitely the haunted graveyard music, which is just eerie, chilling, and just overall creepy. Like you are in some kind of a haunted, creepy, desolate wasteland like the graveyard was before Sally was rescued. And then you hear that little shred of evil laughter in the distance. It's awesome. Also, the pumpkin patch music. It's actually very interesting. It sounds like the kind of music that plays when you're carefully treading a certain territory where you have to watch your step. It doesn't have build-up nor suspense, but it does have some kind of an air of comfort and yet unease at the same time, considering the situation. And then there's the haunted tune that plays whenever you're in a section of Halloween Town that hasn't been resolved of its troubles yet. It has that eerie, haunting, creepy kind of tone, and yet still trying to be whimsical at the same time. the Spiral Hill music, which is surprisingly like a child's lullaby in the way it's performed. Very sweet, very whimsical, and just above all, for lack of a better term, cute. I used to wonder why they used such a tune, since it's so out of place in comparison to the music from the game and the movie. But then it hit me. Spiral Hill is actually a very special place, especially for Jack and Sally. It's kind of like that one place where all the edge is taken off because it's where something wonderful happened back in the movie and is still that same way today. It's kind of like a little safe haven. Pretty clever there, Capcom. Oh, the Hinterlands music. It's really nice. It kind of has that lighter, brighter atmosphere going for it. It's a very pleasant tune, and I think it works well to the game because at this point, we're actually approaching the end, and things are getting a little bit better. It kind of feels that way in a sense, and plus, the music suits the environment of the Hinterlands really nicely. And of course, Holiday Trash Hill. It sounds so epic and freaking awesome. That's all I can say. Just listen to it. Overall, I absolutely love the soundtrack to the game. It feels like Nightmare Before Christmas songs. It really does. Writing song renditions, believe it or not, is actually quite difficult. Not only do you have to keep the lyrics to about the same length, make them rhyme, if there is rhyming, but you have to be able to sing and hum them to the same tune as the original music and lyrics. Believe me, I've done little renditions before, and it's still not easy. They did an excellent job with the lyrics and composition to all the songs, even though they contain different voices from the movie, and most of the time, they still managed to pull off very well done performances in the spirit of the characters. And again, the background instrumental music all around is fantastic. And finally, a filthy finale really combines both an epic fighting and dancing song. Like this bit right here. Doesn't it make you want to fight and dance at the same time? Anyway, moving on. As I'm doing this, I do have to apologize for one thing. I don't exactly have gameplay footage. The footage you've been seeing are cutscenes combined with the boss battles that I managed to obtain, and I do have the soundtrack on hand. So, as much as I wish I could show you guys some of the gameplay, I'm afraid you may have to play the game for yourself or look up some Let's Plays on YouTube. Nonetheless, I'm going to also take a moment to talk about the settings and a bit of the gameplay itself as best as I can. I have played the game for myself, so I am familiar with it. The gameplay isn't that bad, but it does take some getting used to. Once you get the hang of it, though, it works. You use Soul Robber kind of like a whip, and you can grab your opponents either to spin them around or smash them, and sometimes you can even use that technique on objects around you during the gameplay. During boss battles, you actually get to dance, in which you do by collecting musical notes and filling up the meter. Now, the dancing, for me, was very tough to do, but it is a challenge in testing your reflexes, as well as your hand-eye coordination. And at the same time, it is pretty entertaining to watch Jack dancing. The settings are all really well done. Halloween Town looks fantastic in how it still retains how it looks from the movie and yet has a lot added to it to make it seem bigger and more expansive and seems perfectly in place. Alleyways, neighborhoods, the sewers, other such locations, the hidden places. It's awesome! You even get to explore some of the buildings, which is pretty neat, such as the doctor's lab. You can go to a lot of the rooms, especially Sally's room, which I thought was pretty cool. Everywhere else, they also look great. The graveyard, the doctor's yard, the lab, the pumpkin patch, Spiral Hill, the hinterlands, Christmas Town, it's all awesome. The attention to detail in these places with the music to accompany them are all excellent to add to the atmospheres of the environments. I have to say that the hinterlands are one of my favorite areas because I just love the charm of the black and white atmosphere it has, and you already know by now that the music is just lovely. To be honest, it actually reminds me of my favorite location from Paper Mario, the Thousand Year Door, Boggly Woods. Overall, I think it's beautiful. The graphics all look really good and are nicely rendered with great angles and lighting all around. The character models may sometimes look a bit iffy, but they do look great in how they replicate their puppets from the movie. Especially Oogie Boogie. He looks awesome and so himself in all three of the forms we see him in. And lastly, that's about all I have to say about the game. I've pretty much covered everything I could about it. But oh yes, before I go, Sally also helped Jack by bringing a makeshift sleigh over to Christmas Town because of Oogie stealing Santa's sleigh. I can't believe I forgot to mention that. But anyway, here's the scene.
Without that sleigh, I can't deliver any presents. An entire year of preparations will be lost.
But good children all around the world are waiting for Santa.
Sally!
Jack, we have our own sleigh.
Good thinking, Sally. Now we can chase after Oogie. Come on, Sandy. Let's go get him.
Anyway, so that's Oogie's Revenge. Is it a masterpiece? Not really. Is it a bad game? Hell no. Is it a great game? You bet it is. I wouldn't call it the perfect sequel to the movie, but at the same time, it could have been a whole lot worse. And what we got was honestly an excellent idea that worked very well as a follow-up to the movie, with giving us something new and exciting, making callbacks, but not rehashing anything completely. I have to say that for a game follow-up of the movie, it's just about everything you want it to be. Overall, the game is really good and it feels like a Nightmare Before Christmas game, with all the characters, great music, and a gripping story that keeps you interested to see what happens in the long run. Do I recommend it? Well, if you're a big a fan of the movie as I am, you might enjoy it. It is a very long game, and you can get it on the PlayStation 2 or the Xbox. But if you'd rather, just watch a Let's Play on YouTube and see how the game turns out. Copies are sadly no longer sold, and I bought mine on eBay. Now, there is one thing I haven't addressed, but I'll save that for a different video follow-up. It will be addressing Jack and Sally together in terms of the game and maybe some comparisons to the movie. I'll show you my favorite scene of them in the game nonetheless, and why it's awesome, even if the end result is slightly, and I do mean slightly, disappointing.
Sally, you shouldn't be here. It's dangerous.
I had to warn you. Oogie's headed for the hinterlands. I have a bad feeling more trouble is waiting for you down this path.
You give me strength, you show you care. I I cannot fail with you so near. I know I'd be lost without you. We'll stand together now and forever, and I'll tell you this very troubled night that we will set things right.
It's okay, Sally. Nothing's going to stop me from returning Halloween Town to how it was before.
That's it? They don't even complete the rendition of the scene with a kiss? Especially at a moment like this? Sweetie Belle, do you mind?
Oh, come on!
Thank you. Anyway, I'm NintendoGal55, and happy Halloween, everyone! See you next time.
Boys and girls of every age, would you like to see something strange? Come with us and you will see this our town of Halloween.